Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Watch Addiction Watchers. As you can see in front of you today, we have the Nivada Grenchen Super Antarctic Tropical Dial version, which is actually a really cool watch. On the bracelet, it retails for about 950 US dollars. Comes in this pretty nifty box here. So you can see there is the watch. It does come on leather strap options as well, as you can see, for a bit cheaper. I will drop a link down to their website in the description below. The shipping was pretty quick, came about 3 or 4 days to the United States via FedEx. And I can't complain about that. They are based in Switzerland. This is a Swiss-made brand, a brand that was reinvented or brought back from the past. As you can see, these tropical Antarctic watches have been around since the 1950s. Well, the Super Antarctic model, I should say. Comes in this little nifty box here, white, kind of cushiony box, which is actually pretty cool. As you can see, Nivada Grenchen over here. You open the box up, and inside you get your little warranty card on a little pad there. Pretty simple packaging. But let's get into the watch, because the watch is actually really nice. Now here in front of you is the Super Antarctic 369 Tropical Dial. Now there are a bunch of different variations. You can get in the kind of newer dial, or like a new, it looks like a brand new watch. This is custom done on the dial here to make it look tropical, which a lot of people really appreciate. A lot of people like old vintage style watches where the dials have aged to have that kind of tropical effect. So they kind of did it themselves, which is actually pretty cool, including the lume. As you can see, it looks very aged, which is quite interesting. I've never, had a watch in my hands like that where it was, custom made like that to look like an older model or an aged dial, which is actually pretty cool. It actually comes off as like a slight brownish color, which is quite interesting. And the marker is kind of like an off yellowish, which is pretty cool. Very nice watch though. We have an all solid 316L stainless steel case here, which is your industry standard. This is a Swiss-made watch, considering Nivada Grenchen does hail from Switzerland. 38 millimeters in terms of case diameter is very similar to the Explorer by Rolex. We do have a 45 top to bottom, or lug to lug here. We have a 20 millimeter lug width and only a 12 millimeter case thickness there, which is very thin. It really conforms to the wrist and wears very nicely. Some other specifications let's go through. We have a sapphire crystal with anti-reflective coating, as you can see there. Very nice. Looks very good, cut very nice. Now, of course, this is running a automatic caliber. It is running the Soprod Swiss Automatic P024 movement. We'll get a little more into that when I test out the movement. But this is the bracelet version. It comes on as kind of beads of rice style bracelet, which is actually really nice. You have some different finishing on this watch. As you can see, fine brushing on the sides. And the actual sapphire crystal pokes up a little bit above that highly polished bezel there, which is actually pretty nice. Everything is very nicely finished, I must say, the case cut down to the finishing. And then on the lugs, as you can see, they kind of come inward, kind of like a Speedmaster comes out, kind of like, rolls inward. This comes inward, then comes flat down, which is really interesting. High polishing too on the outsides of these lugs. And you have brushed over here. So it's really interesting. On the bracelet, we get a mix of brush and polished surfaces, as you can see. Going down the center, all polished on these nice beads of rice bracelet, and you have brushed on the outer links. On the sides of the bracelet, you can see highly polished there. Screw links on this bracelet, of course, which you would expect for 950 US dollars. But yeah, it comes definitely on this nice bracelet. I would definitely go for the bracelet. It's definitely worth it. You can see we get a custom Nivada Grenchen signed clasp. 1, 2, 3, 4 micro adjustments, opens up to a stamped clasp here, which kind of goes back to the traditional stamped clasps of the older days. It kind of fits the theme of the watch, the vintage theme. Obviously for this price they could have put a milled clasp, but I think it looks at home with this stamped clasp. This is a watch where I give it an exception. Now going to the case back, we get that nice kind of gold tone drawing here, as you can see, of Nivada Grenchen, which is actually really cool, of the Super Antarctic. You can see little glaciers there, a little airplane there on the bottom. Really nicely done, very nicely done. Solid end links on this bracelet as well. Just, yeah, nice little touch on the case back. I think it makes the watch, kind of come to life a little bit more, which is really nice. Now, sized for, up to an 8-inch wrist, I'd say this bracelet is good to go. I don't think you'll need any extra links on there. Now, let's take a closer look at this tropical dial here. As you can see, getting in on a macro level here, you can see that aged hour hand, which is really cool. It is filled with lume as well. We have 369 filled with lume. All the markers are filled with lume as well. The loom is kind of a vintagey loom, it looks like. I'll get you a loom shot towards the end of the video so you can check that out. Long pinpoint seconds hand, which reaches all the way, even past the minute markings. Almost looks like it's passing, almost touching the crystal, which is pretty cool. But yeah, everything is applied on the dial. The markers, we have Nivada Grenchen in white printed, Super Antarctic, 25 rubies, or meaning 25 jewels. This So-Prod automatic Swiss caliber does have 25 jewels. And yeah, I think it looks pretty cool. We have that kind of Mercedes hour hand without the Mercedes inside. Then we have a long kind of sword minutes hand. It just looks very nice. I think they did a great job on mimicking, an aged dial or a tropical dial here. It looks pretty good, I must say. They did a pretty good job. Now, this watch can be used in a lot of situations. As you can see, we get a screw down crown here. We get a screw down case back, of course. Allowing this watch to go 100 meters. 100 meters of water resistance, that's pretty much good to swim with in a pool or the ocean. Make sure the crown is screwed down, of course. But yeah, a very versatile timepiece. Obviously, this might be a desk diver for you. I wouldn't call it a dive watch. This might be a desk watch for you. It might be a dress watch for you, or just an everyday kind of watch. It can be used in many, many different situations, and does really have that nice kind of vintage look, which you can dress up with very nicely. Definitely slides under cuff as well. Now, the watch itself is keeping pretty good time. I would say it's running at about 5 to 6 seconds fast per day, which is good for me. Now, the P024 caliber by So-Prod is kind of based on the ETA 2824. Which most of you guys are pretty familiar with. It's a Swiss-made automatic caliber, which is very popular. But now a lot of brands are using different calibers. Even Ronda automatic calibers are coming out, which is quite interesting. But this watch itself uses the So-Prod. It has 25 joules, a 38-hour power reserve. It has hacking, of course, hand winding as well. I would say it's just as reliable. Feels just as good as an ETA 2824. Now the crown here does have pretty good grip on it. It is a little smaller considering we have a 38mm case. Go ahead and unscrew the crown here. As you can see, pops out, pretty sturdy. It gets self-winding, even though it is already running. This movement does beat at 4 Hertz, or 28,800 beats per hour. Looks very nice. Then you pull out to the final position, and you get hacking, and you can set the time here. Nice resistance as well to exactly set the time as you want. Set it there, push it down, and you're all good to go. Screw the crown back in, make sure it's screwed down. No issues there. I just want to show you guys the nice kind of, curves of this watch. I think it's pretty cool. The case kind of, comes straight over here, then it drops down a little bit. As you can see, there are no female end links, but it's a 38mm case, 45 lug to lug. You can add an extra millimeter at 46 if you really want to imagine how it's going to fit on your wrist, but it wears very nicely. I would say it wears kind of like an Explorer 38mm. As you can see here, the finishing is very good. There are no sharp edges or anything like that. It feels like of decent Swiss quality, decent Swiss case cutting, and overall, it feels very luxurious in hand, I must say. For the price point, I think you're getting, well worth your money. Yeah, it's just a really, really interesting watch. And I want to get you a loom shot because it has this kind of vintage loom on it, which is pretty cool. Let's take a look at that, guys. So here we have a nice loom shot for you guys. And as you can see, it is a greenish tone. It's toned down a bit to kind of make it look vintagey, as a tropical dial would look with loom nowadays. But obviously the loom is still bright. It's filled in nicely on the markers on the 369. And it's definitely very legible at night. Obviously, if you want, perfectly applied loom, non-aged or, custom aged, go for the other model, which with the black dial, which has a stronger loom, obviously, because it's not aged. This is a special type of watch for a special type of person. Now, on my 6.5-inch wrist, as you can see, I knew the watch was going to fit perfectly. 45 lug to lug, wears like a 46 lug to lug, I must say, considering the end links are in female end links, but I must say it does wear very comfortable. A nice size. So I have a 6.5-inch wrist, and I would say if you have up to a 7.5-inch wrist, 7.6, this will look pretty nice on your wrist, right at home on my wrist. Very legible dial, and let's say with that 369 orientation and that large hour hand with the circle at the end. Very easy to read. As you can see, that sweeping seconds hand really does stand out as well. But overall, even with the light on it, the anti-reflective coating is doing its job, making it very, very legible. So furthermore, guys, I think for the price point, you're getting a lot for your money. I mean, you're getting a brand that has came back, from 1950 to reproduce this watch with a vintage aged dial. You're getting a great movement, sapphire crystal, great quality control. I've seen a couple of these watches in the past. I've also seen them at Worn and Wound. And their watches are really, really good quality. I mean, the quality is quite outstanding for the price point. I've seen watches which cost double this with lesser quality in terms of case cut finish and bracelet. Overall, it's a very nice looking watch. It's something that you can keep for a long time. You know, it has history in it. It's a brand with a rich history. It's a rich Swiss brand. I believe in the future I see this brand just growing and growing and growing. I think they're going to do some great things in the future. They also have very nice chronographs, which of course are a little more expensive, you know, for a mechanical chronograph. But if you want something, you know, simple, a good everyday wear, 100 meters water resistance, great Swiss automatic caliber, very reliable, service interval every few years, something that's gonna, you know, take you, you know, in all different places from the office to the pool to just casually walking down the boardwalk. I think this might be a great option for you, especially if you're a vintage watch guy and you want something that looks aged, but you don't want to kind of buy a vintage watch, you know, that's already aged, considering they have a lot of problems. And you don't have to continually service it, get, you know, source parts that are very hard to find. Why not just buy something like this that's already made and it's going to function, you know, for years to come. That's just my personal opinion there. But let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. As usual, this is Watch Addiction Watch Reviews coming at you with the 369 Tropical Dial Super Antarctic from Nivada Grenchen, a very worldwide known, very well-known Swiss brand, hailing all the way back from the early 1940s and 50s. And yeah, let me know what you guys think. Definitely subscribe to the channel, throw the video a like, leave me a comment down in the comment section below, and we'll talk more down there. And I will see you guys on the next one. Thanks so much for tuning in. Bye.